Hi, this is Elliot Fishman, and I'm live on Facebook. And hope everyone's doing okay. I have a small cough, which is a combination of something I probably got from my grandchildren as well as RSNA. Pre-COVID, every time you went to the RSNA, you were sick on the way home. I feel fine, but I have a raspy throat, sucking on a cough drop and trying not to cough. Other than that, life is good. So, I told you last week my thoughts about RSNA, what we might see, and now I'm going to tell you what I did see. So I went to RSNA. I went on Saturday, got there Saturday night, and left Monday night. So I was basically at the meeting for roughly 2 days. I will say the meeting looked kind of normal. A few people had masks on. Maybe they were smart ones. Most people didn't. Maybe they weren't the smart ones. But I thought there was a lot of energy. I thought what people particularly liked was seeing other people. Many people from other institutions you haven't seen or spoken to in years. I saw Sheila Chef, but I speak to her all the time, but I haven't seen her in person in about 3.5 years. I saw one of our old residents who I haven't seen in person in 25 years. So a little bit of both. So I think all of us who saw friends, and it was good. I think that was one of the nicest things. If you speak to anybody, they're probably going to tell you that the best thing about the meeting was being at the meeting and seeing other people. The exhibits, I thought, were crowded. When I went on Sunday, Sunday's always the lowest day, it was pretty good. Monday was very busy, I thought. I think RSNA reported on Monday when I looked on the email, they had like 35,000 people registered, something like that. Last year it was like 21 or 22,000. Normally they reach like 50. I don't know what the final numbers were. I think people stayed less time at the meeting. I know usually I would stay Saturday to Thursday, but it was Saturday to Monday. Back to work on Tuesday. But I thought that was good. I thought that it did give you a feel of things were getting back to where they were. So that's the hope. Now, what do you know? What did you learn? You probably learned nothing at the RSNA in terms of the things you didn't know already. For example, guess what? Everybody's short-staffed. Everybody's very busy. The presidential address talks about being closer to patients, but then how do you read the films and get close to the patients? We need to be out there with our patients, but everyone is being driven by incredible volumes and incredible shortages of people. Everybody you spoke to everywhere was hiring. Academics, private practice, nighthawk companies, dayhawk companies. Anybody who has people is short people. You're in the market, it's a great time. Many people are looking at these hybrid jobs or jobs that are not hybrid, just 100% working from home. That's very popular. I don't know if it's a generational of people, but it's really popular, and so that's just reality. We do have some people working for us who are remote. They do a great job, so I'm pleased about that. But again, it's a different world, so that part's really just something to be the reality of. We also technology was big. Everyone's showing new scanners, though everyone's also talking not so much about the technology. I mean, Siemens had their new photon scanner, and other companies like United Imaging and GE and Canon all have or are going to have similar type products. But I think what people are focusing on, and perhaps not because the companies want it, but because we want it, is workflow, throughput. How can you do more with less? Obviously, excuse me, AI was everywhere. Whether you're NVIDIA, Google, you saw big announcements from NVIDIA, you saw big announcements from Google. A million companies, whether it's RadNet, GE, Siemens, and a million small companies. So that's not a great surprise. AI is everywhere and everything. So, and there's apps that are becoming closer to market and closer to mainstream, perhaps, is a way of thinking about it, particularly things like mammography, things like the ability to move patients through the system, the ability to have the computer tell you about positive findings like cranial bleeds, pneumothoraces on chest x-rays, pneumoperitoneum, things that require action and need you to look at the film sooner rather than later. So many of the apps are not simply replacing radiologists, none of them yet are, but helping the radiologists and helping you manage a difficult day. So I think that's very positive. I think things that will replace the radiologists or perhaps change what radiologists we have probably focus in mammography. Mammo has the most companies, I think, working on solutions, but breast imaging in general is a bit easier. It's one organ, one disease, limited imaging. It's like doing the abdomen where we develop a great pancreas program. What about the liver, spleen, kidneys, bowel, aorta, spine, on and on. So breast has a certain advantage. Some of the musculoskeletal have similar advantages for fractures, for example. But a lot of stuff going on in that realm. I think you're also seeing a lot of people really trying to figure out directions of imaging and where things are going. I think another thing RSNA showed is the amount of work being done outside the US. I think a combination of in academics, if you're very busy, you're not going to be writing a lot, but also just the work from places like China and Korea, Israel, Australia, Europe, England, and every place in between. Everybody's doing stuff. That's very positive. You know, AI is not a US thing, it's not a European thing, it's not an Australian thing, it's everybody doing AI. Different ways perhaps, and perhaps with different success, but everybody is focusing in that area. So that's why you need to see progress. I managed one session. There was 6 speakers. One was from China, one was from Australia, one was from Germany, one I can't remember where they were from, and 2 were from the US, one from LA, and one somewhere else, maybe Wisconsin. So again, I think, you know, radiology is a worldwide phenomena, and the advances will be felt across the globe, and many of the advances will be coming from other places. So that's not bad. As long as we get really good progress, I think becomes very important. A couple of comments I see here from Alberto. COVID put fear in many healthcare workers, plus workload increases made it more difficult for those of us that work through it unceasingly. Yeah, I think it's a challenge. I think there's no doubt people are a little bit challenged by the workflow, by the workload. So we're hoping that that gets a little bit better, though I'm not sure. I think the big thing is the volumes of work. And again, you need to maintain accuracy, but accuracy in the face of more studies becomes more difficult. So we're going to have to really figure out how to do that. That's going to be one of our challenges. But I think going back to the topic at hand, I think RSNA was very successful. Now, I look forward to going back next year. I think the good news for everybody, it did have a good feel. I was concerned it would kind of be more like the Titanic. I think it was more like the launch of the Titanic, that it was all good. So I think that's very exciting. We always think about RSNA as the Super Bowl, as being a major focus of what we do, and really being a trendsetter. So I think what you could see and what you could say is radiology is alive and well. Technology is advancing from scanners to AI to everything in between. Injectors, workflow issues, throughput issues, all that is front and center. Now, will it be addressed? Some of it will, some of it will take longer, but I think the good news and what I'm happy to report is the state of the union is good. The meeting was strong. I was impressed and everyone I spoke to was also impressed. Hopefully, I don't have a cold, or I'll be a little bit less impressed by all those people who didn't wear masks, including myself, but I did wear it on the plane. So we shall see. Hopefully, everything will go well. But watch the newspapers. You can see a lot of the announcements from RSNA. Um, and again, it's very exciting. And let me see, what else can I say hello to? Meg Vines, who's in Pennsylvania. John Bianchino, who's out in Timonium. Hey, John. Um, and I don't know where Louis Mayo is, but I'll say hello also. And with that, I wish everybody a great day. And oh, on the sad news side of things, not radiology related, is that Christy McVeigh died yesterday. I didn't realize she was 79. Not that it makes it any better. Christy was the real person uh, who really epitomized Fleetwood Mac, one of the great groups of our time. And her passing kind of is very sad for all of us. It was Fleetwood Mac was a big part of the music of our lifetime, and she surely would be missed by her friends, family, and all those fans who loved Fleetwood Mac. And with that, have a great day.